So the thing we've all been waiting for, the Switch 2 Direct, finally happened. And man, let me tell you, this is quite a Direct. Like, we just had the Switch 1 Direct last week, you know, the potentially final, probably not, but basically the last, you know, just one console from Nintendo currently out Direct. And then a week later, we get this huge one for the Switch 2. And then we find out that we're getting another one in a few weeks. Like, it's crazy. So the Direct started in the way that a lot of us kind of assumed it would. It gave us a better, slightly more in-depth look at the new Mario Kart game, specifically titled Mario Kart World. From what we've seen so far, it seems like it's an open world Mario Kart game. Like, it has the base feature, you know, the cup racing, where you choose one cup, it's 4 courses, and whoever wins the most out of that, you know, blah, 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 etc., etc. The difference is that in this one, the race doesn't stop at the end of each course. You have to drive to the next track. So that's kind of cool. In addition to that, there are more features that involve like going from one coast to another and just a bunch of races where individuals will get knocked out if they're not within a certain placement. There's also now a free drive option where you're just exploring the open world, either by yourself or with multiplayer. I feel like that's a feature I'm going to be using with my kids a lot, especially my 4-year-old. He loves Mario Kart, but he's not as into the racing. He just likes driving the cars, he likes the characters, and like, I don't blame him. That's fair. We got a little sneak peek, you know, we got to see some of the different characters that we're gonna get. Like, we're gonna have Bitty Bug as a driver. That's insane. Really weird, like, of all of the villains. I know the total in a race is gonna be 24, so I'm not sure what the roster is gonna look like on this one. But we're getting a Direct specifically focused around Mario Kart World on the 17th. So we'll find out more then. After that, they gave us kind of some of the details on the mechanics of the Switch 2. You know, what the C button's for, and a bunch of other, you know, blah, blah, blah. They went through and they showed, you know, the different uses for the second C port, USB-C port. Not only can you use it, you know, tabletop mode and plugged in, but there's going to be a USB-C, like, webcam that you can use in the Switch 2. So you can have your face do like a video chat, because the C button is a chat button, not a like a camera button. A lot of us, at least me personally, I assumed the C button would be similar to the C buttons on the N64 or the C stick that was on the GameCube, but no, this is for chats. You can open up voice chats with your friends, or you can screen share. This screen share looks a little laggy. I'm gonna just say it. You know, a lot of other people said the same thing so far. I don't know if I'm gonna be doing a lot of the screen share, unless like I'm specifically asking a friend for like help on a spot in a game. But most of my friends that play Nintendo aren't usually on at the same time as me. Like, our schedules don't really blend in that way. So personally, I don't think I'm gonna get a lot of use out of the screen share or even the webcam. Maybe the voice chat. I could see my brother and I using the voice chat, or maybe my buddy Alex. There's a few people that are online around the same time as I am occasionally. Yeah, the voice chat, that's kind of neat, I guess. One thing that was pretty hilarious, actually, infuriating at the time, but really funny looking back, is that the stream kind of lagged at one point. They were talking about some new game with kids on an island or something, and then all of a sudden they were talking about like Cyberpunk 2077, which is going to be on the Switch 2, and we just had nothing. Like, it was just frozen. It was just stiff. It went on that way for quite a while. I don't know how many, you know, random games they were showing, and just we were hearing the sounds of while it was just frozen on one screen. I laughed pretty hard at one point. Like, it was bullshit. They announced that not only are we getting Elden Ring on the Switch 2, because the Switch 2 can run in 4K. The Switch 2 can do more than 60 FPS. Like, the Switch 2, very capable from what we're seeing, which is insane. That's more than I was expecting for sure. I thought maybe we'd get just like, you know, 60 FPS, maybe like 1080p. I wasn't expecting 4K resolution when docked. Like, that's cool. That's really fucking cool. Not super necessary, but neat that we have it. So a lot more games will be coming over because of that. Like we're getting Cyberpunk, we're getting Elden Ring. We're going to be getting a Switch exclusive FromSoft game. That's kind of a wild sentence to even say, that a Nintendo exclusive FromSoft game. That's not a sentence that I ever thought that would come out of my mouth. So that's wild. I am crossing my fingers that now that we're getting this better resolution, we're getting all this, I'm hoping more people are going to want to be porting their games over to the Switch too. So maybe we'll get Deep Rock Galactic. I haven't played that yet, and it looks really damn fun. They gave us information about Switch 2 versions of current games. So some of the current Nintendo games are going to have the option of looking better, being enhanced on the Switch 2. The thing I'm not super thrilled about is that in order to make this happen, you have to buy an upgrade, which looks like it's just like a little card, and it'll just upgrade it when you put it on the Switch 2. Like it's just kind of like when you buy a digital copy at a store. I'm assuming that means it'll also be available on the eShop, but I'm not super thrilled that you have to buy upgrades if you want the games to run smoother on the Switch 2 or whatever. I'm not entirely against the idea, like it adds a bunch of new features to Mario Party Jamboree. That's cool. All right, yeah, I could see that being worth it. But when they showed Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, it really just kind of changed the visuals. And like, I don't know, I guess I'm in the minority. I thought the visuals in those games looked good. Yeah, there were certain places that loaded choppier than others, but like, the game is pretty looking. Like, I don't need to pay extra to fix it right now, you know, like, that's weird, I think that's a little strange. I am going to sound like a bit of a hypocrite because I am totally willing to pay for the upgraded version of Kirby and the Forgotten Land. I fucking love that game. I'm actually working on a video that I recorded, God, it would have been like November, where I just kind of talk about how much I like that game. That one should be coming soon. And apparently it's getting just, the upgraded version for the Switch 2 is going to have an entire new DLC mode for it. So that's fucking awesome. Like that, to me, that sounds worth it. I get more gameplay. Totally. Just visuals? I don't want to pay for just visuals. I like pretty looking graphics. I enjoy pretty looking games. I don't need my games to look picture perfect if they're fun. I think Breath of the Wild is a really fun game. I don't need to pay to make it look a little prettier. You know, that's personally. We got to look at a bunch of third-party games, including some that are utilizing the new Switch 2 Joy-Con's mouse feature. I don't think I'm going to get a lot of use out of the mouse feature. I might do like a whole thing about the mouse feature, because I'm probably never going to use the mouse, unless it's a game that requires it. Like if I'm playing a Mario Party and you have to use the mouse for a game, yeah, I'll pull up a table. But like for the most part, I play in a chair or in a couch or in my bed, and I don't usually have a hard surface that I can roll my Joy-Cons around on. So I don't know how useful that's going to be for me. I know one of the examples they were using was Civilization, the whatever the current Civilization game is coming over. So you'll have the mouse feature for that, and that makes sense. You know, those games, you kind of need a mouse, I think. Now, Nintendo, if you want me to use a mouse on this new Switch, you need to find a way to get the old Warcraft and StarCraft games ported over. Then I'm down. Also, it's a pipe dream, but I'm really hoping that we hear out of like Larian, maybe, that we'll get a port of Baldur's Gate 3 on the Switch 2, maybe, hopefully. I hope. Yet another game that I haven't played because I don't have the system it runs on. During the third party, we also got to see like a literal, like, half a second, we get to look and see that Silksong is in fact coming out this year. So everybody that's been asking about Silksong forever, yeah, it's coming, 2025. We don't have a month yet, but I mean, that's something. I hope that we're going to hear more about that in a later direct, because that's a pretty big deal. Maybe we'll hear about it in an indie world coming up. I don't know. We also got news about a Deltarune game, so the people that are super into Deltarune, like, that's cool. I have not played those. I've heard that they're really fun. I'll have to try them. I think the first announcement that really made me like audibly excited, they announced that the NSO is going to be for both the Switch and the Switch 2, obviously. Like, that's something that a lot of us assumed. The Switch Online wasn't going to just have a whole new program for the new console. We all hoped. So if you're currently paying for the NSO, you will have it on the Switch 2. The announcement that made me, like, almost audibly cheer was that they announced that the NSO on the Switch 2 is going to have Nintendo GameCube games. Specifically, they announced that Soul Calibur 2, whichever F-Zero game was on the GameCube, and Legend of Zelda Wind Waker are all going to be on it when it first shows up on your Switch 2. So that's great. They did a little quick montage that showed other games that are going to be coming to it, which included Luigi's Mansion, the fucking first one, and Chibi Robo. So I'm thrilled. That's all I needed. They could have ended right there, and I'd have been like, I don't even care that we didn't see anything else that was like a new in-house game. Like, I'm stoked. But that is not where they ended. They had plenty more to talk about. For example, we're getting a new Hyrule Warriors game. So if you don't know what those are, they're like the Dynasty Warriors games, but set in Hyrule with Zelda characters. This one specifically takes place in the war that they kind of talk about in Tears of the Kingdom. So you'll be playing a bunch of the Zonai characters and Zelda. So that's neat. A little strange. They also talked about how we are getting the current Street Fighters game, and there's going to be some brand new amiibos for it, so that's kind of sick. As we finally got to the end, and I was on the edge of my seat waiting to see if there was going to be a 3D Mario game, we did not get a 3D Mario game, but we got kind of a fake out. There was a star falling. I was fully anticipating Mario, and no, it's a sequel to Kirby Air Ride. This one's called Kirby Air Riders. And if you don't know what that is, that was a Kirby racing game that was on the GameCube. It's essentially Mario Kart, but you are flying around on stars and other weird vehicles and using Kirby's, power-up abilities. And it's awesome. It's super cool. I didn't expect them to do anything with that IP, let alone a full-ass sequel on the new console. So that's really cool. Plus, Masahiro Sakurai is coming back to do it. Like, it's a Masahiro Sakurai game? Hell yes. Absolutely. Are you kidding? Sakurai back in Kirby? Absolutely. Fuck yes. Then the final announcement. Again, everyone was expecting it to be Odyssey 2, myself included, but no, it's a brand new Donkey Kong game. We haven't had a new Donkey Kong game since the Wii U, and it's a 3D Donkey Kong game, like an open world Donkey Kong. I don't know if it's gonna be like, massive open world, that's not what I mean. I just mean like it's a 3D platformer with Donkey Kong. We haven't had one of those since the fucking Nintendo 64. So that's really cool. That's exciting. That's something that a lot of people have been waiting for forever. My buddy Steven is going to be stoked when he sees that. Like, there's no way. All in all, it was a pretty damn good Direct. We had a lot of really cool information. We got a lot of really in-depth looks at how the new Switch is gonna work. We got a release date. It's coming in June. The Switch 2 is officially coming in June. So that's fucking exciting. I'm gonna have to stay off of like BackerKit and Kickstarter because I'm gonna need to save all my money for this. This is great. I'm thrilled. This is fucking awesome. But yeah, hopefully we'll see more about like, what other games are gonna be coming out throughout the year and early next year. I think it's pretty safe to assume we'll be getting a 3D Mario at some point. Whether that's an Odyssey 2, I don't know. But we'll be getting something, I'm sure. But until we know more, I, like everyone else, I'm gonna be crossing my fingers, hoping we hear something about Kid Icarus, something about maybe more Chibi Robo, I don't know. I'd really like to see another Luigi's Mansion game just because I love them. But whatever, I'm not going to sit around speculating on what things might come out through the next, 8 years. I think that it's better to kind of ruminate on what we know, and what we know is pretty damn exciting. Yeah, I think that's about it for this one. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked it, please leave me a comment, subscribe, ring the bell, all the stuff. You want to do that, that way you can keep up to date when I post. I know some people have been complaining that they're not getting these announcements when they post. So that is concerning. If you're a fan and you want to reach out and I can send them to you directly, I do post the links occasionally when I remember on my Blue Sky at Dogface701. You can also find me on Discord. I'm not on there super often. I mostly go there to chat with my D&D friends and my buddy Alex. But if you like, any of this stuff, you want to follow me somewhere, go ahead. I post more here than I do anywhere else, but I'm working on that. But yeah, like I said, that's about it for this one. I will see you guys next time. Be kind to each other.